negative powers. Earlier, I was mentioning that the negative sign in a power is the same as the little divided by bar in a fraction. And one of the skills that you are required to do is to be able to express or simplify an index expression not only with negative indices, but then to convert it into the appropriate positive index, or in other words, get anything that has a little negative index into the denominator of a fraction. We're going to simplify these expressions in both negative indices and also with positive indices. Let's start with the numbers 6 and 12. Now, unfortunately, neither 6 nor 12 are very good at being squares. They're not square numbers here. If it were me, I would just do 6 times 12, which is 72. But if it's asking for simplest index form, we have to write it in index form. So 6 is the same as saying 2 times 3. And 12 is the same as saying 2 times 3 times 2. Why is that? Because 12 is the same as 6 times 2, and 6 is the same as 2 times 3. So these numbers would just be 2 to the power of, how many 2's did I have? 1, 2, 3. So this is power of 3 times by 3 squared. We can't, remember we cannot multiply, we can't add those powers because the bases are different. We've got j's and we have j's. So this will be the same as j to the power of 1, because there's a tiny little 1 there, plus negative 4. And then we've got these L's, which is 5 plus negative 20. So my first answer is going to look like this. Now, I know that the negative numbers can be a little bit of a challenge. Remember, if you've got a plus and a minus together, that is the same as saying a minus. 1 take away 4 is negative 3. Five take away 20 is negative 15. So there's my answers with negative powers. And then we've got 2 cubed times 3 squared, because they're positive. They live at the top of the numerator. And then at the bottom, in the denominator, we have j cubed and L15, L to the power of 15. So this one is my answer for negative indices, and this one is my answer for positive indices. For the next one here, I know that 4 is 2 squared, 32 is 2 to the power of 5. So this would be 2 to the power of 2 take away 5. We have y to the power of 4 take away 12. And r to the power of negative 3 minus 6. So 2 take away 5 is going to be negative 3. Y to the power of 4 take away 12 is going to be negative 8. And r negative 3 take away 6 is going to be negative 9. So there is my first answer with negative powers. So what would that look like with positives? 1 over 2 cubed, y to the power of 8, r to the power of 9. Or, if you chose to simplify that fraction first, I would be perfectly happy to accept 1 over 8 y to the power of 8, r to the power of 9. And that would be our answer for with positive indices. This one is simply using the multiplication rule. We don't need to do any other simplification here. So our first answer is simply 7 to the negative 2. T, 2 times negative 2 is going to be negative 4. And D, 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. So that's my answer for the negative index. And then we can rewrite that as 7 squared t for d to the power of 2 for my second answer. Or of course you could write instead of 7 squared, 49. Both versions are acceptable.